As Vince McMahon would say, well, goddamn, pal. Palworld is officially under investigation by Nintendo. We kind of knew this was coming, even though Palworld and Pocketpair, the company that's behind it, said that they were absolutely not concerned or worried about Nintendo coming after them. So, just the other day, Nintendo struck down a Pokemon mod that was made by a YouTuber, but now they made a statement. This is big, guys. Nintendo is not happy with Palworld. They didn't say the name directly. They didn't really go into too much detail. They made a very vague statement, which we are going to talk about right now. So in this statement, and it is in both Japanese and in English, it says inquiries regarding other companies' games. So they're just referring it to as other companies' games. They're not flat out saying Palworld, because we know if Pokemon was to say it by name, that would just be more free advertising. And this game is already unstoppable. It's done millions. I think it hit 8 million installs total within this week, and it's holding the concurrent Steam record as we speak. It is absolutely nuts. They put a roadmap for future updates in the game. There's absolutely no competing. All right. So anyways, not to get sidetracked, they said we have received many inquiries regarding another company's game. Again, another company released in January 2024. So, I wonder which one they are talking about. What other Pokemon clone came out in 2024? Exactly. They're terrified. They're shaking in their boots. Somebody in my chat said it best the other day. If Nintendo and Game Freak aren't going to make a Pokemon game, someone else will. And my God, someone else did. So continuing, they say, we have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in that game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon in its world and work to bring the world together through Pokemon in the future. The Pokemon Company. So this is coming off of allegations of them copying Pokemon character designs. If you look at some of the Twitter threads that are out there, there's people that actually have examples of similarities with certain characters. For example, there's like a character that looks like a lot like Electabuzz. There's characters that look like other ones, and honestly, yeah, there's a lot of similarities here, but even Pocketpair CEO themselves said that they're not concerned with any kind of copyright that Nintendo might try to infringe upon them, because they were able to bypass it. Now, is this through any kind of ethical means? I don't know. That's where some of the controversy and allegations are coming from. If you watch my previous videos on this, there's been allegations of them using artificial intelligence to make actual Pokemon creatures or Pokemon-like creatures of the game. They're called pals. And also to design the game. So, yeah, there's going to be similarities, especially if you're using AI in something like this. The AI has some kind of source material to use, right? They have to have something to compare and base and create and stuff. And when you're dealing with something that is like Pokemon and just little monsters in general, you're going to have similarities. Think back to like Digimon and all those other types of Mon and all that. And then on top of that, Pokemon wasn't even the first pocket monster catching game or movie or TV show or any kind of medium out there. There was all sorts of different types of stuff in Japan before Pokemon became a smash hit. But I digress on that. We're focusing on the whole Palworld controversy since it's been trending this last week. If you have been on the internet and you've been on gaming websites, you've seen something about Palworld, guys, and all this news, all this huge success, and of course it's attracting the attention of people. It probably didn't help that mods were being created using Nintendo intellectual property, because I think honestly that definitely put legalities into the microscope of Nintendo. Yeah, maybe they had their eye on the game a little bit, but when they started to look into it and people were posting stuff, maybe that caught Nintendo's attention a lot faster. I'm surprised the game even lasted a week at this point. Some people that were in my chat the other day when we were talking about this were like, hey, you know, if this had anything wrong with it, Nintendo would have already shut this down. There's no way that they're going to let this slide. I personally think there's enough creative liberty here. You know, you got, of course, the monster catching aspect. You got an open world aspect. You got arc survival type of gameplay mechanics. You have crafting and building. I think there's enough of a mishmash of gameplay mechanics here to have it separate from what Pokemon is really about. I mean, other than actually capturing little pocket monsters, there's not much in similarities to it. Yeah, some of the character designs, again, little sus, you know, little too close to nail on the head. Some people are suggested maybe it's a bit of a parody. Maybe they're making it more of a parody because it's Pokemon with guns, and that's the ha-ha hee-hee part of it that they were able to get, like, I guess, some kind of excuse for parody. Pocketpair, which is the development studio behind this, hadn't come out right forth and said any of that. They've actually kind of kept it calm, cool, and collective, considering that this is a small studio and this game went from, like, being unknown to being the record breaker on Steam at this point, and they got a lot to prove. They got a fan base of players here, and that caught Nintendo's eye, because you got to think about how Pokemon in recent years, especially with Scarlet and Violet, have just kind of dropped the ball. Nintendo kind of is not even supporting Scarlet and Violet that much, even though there was DLC and updates and things like that. It seems like they just kind of played it safe when it comes to one of their biggest franchises out there. So, of course, when there's something out there that has similarities, competition captures the eye. I personally think competition is good, even if it's something that is a clone or a ripoff, or what do you want to call it. I think competition is good, and I think that this would, in turn, in theory, force Nintendo to do a lot better. But at this point, it's forcing Nintendo to take possible legal action. If you've read any of the things about Nintendo's history and their attorneys, they are going to be out for blood. If they say that they are going to be investigating something, you can bet they're already on top of that. As that statement happened like this morning, their attorneys are probably in a room, like a big boardroom, and there's probably like a good solid dozen of them looking at every single nook and cranny of Palworld, trying to find some kind of gotcha to shut this game down or force their hand to change it enough. For what we're seeing, and, you know, thankfully this is like an early game preview, it's an early build, we might not even have the same game when it's finished. This is like a beta mode that could easily be changed because it's an early access at this time. Either way, it got the publicity that they wanted. This definitely got the publicity that Pocketpair needed to make anything going forward in the future. Now that they got Nintendo's attention, even if they shut Palworld down, next game made by Pocketpair is going to have a lot of publicity because it's going to be known as the company that had their Pokemon clone shut down. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Nintendo investigates and if they find anything, if they pursue legal action, just to see how quickly this game is going to be shut down. I want to know what you guys think about this whole situation. Do you think Palworld's going to go bye-bye? Sorry, pal. Or do you think it's going to get by? Or are you into that whole, you know, fuck Palworld? There's been a whole Palworld versus Pokemon fan controversy where people are getting death threats and all this. It's really interesting to watch. So comment down below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and share this video out. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.